So let's start then. Is it arguably fair to say that this is the biggest weekend of your season so far?
Yeah, I think I've said it many times. You can talk about every week being the biggest season. They're all important games, but obviously this is extremely important, do or die now. So it's a game that the players are really looking forward to, and I know the fans are as well.
How have you handled having a week off? What's this last couple of weeks looked like for you?
Yeah, it's you got to get the balance right. Obviously, you want to freshen the players up. There's no doubt about that. It's been a long season, and it's the benefit of having that week off is you can freshen the players up, but you also need to get them ready, and they need to be ready to play. So it's finding that balance of time away, recovering, and then when they're in, they work hard and they get ready to go again. So that's the balance that we've gone with, and we've found that it's been really effective in terms of the players' energy levels and where they're at the moment.
And how do you get that balance right? What have you done to try to do that?
Well, it's obviously looking at what we've done all season, looking into different turnarounds that we've done, what's worked, what hasn't, when we found the players have been hot, playing with high energy and intensity, which has been the majority of the season. So it's only, fine-tuning a few different things. But obviously rugby league is big on feel as well. You need to feel the group and understand your group, and we certainly do that. So it's just been around all those sort of different areas. But we've found that the players, when they've trained, they've trained at 100% like they have all season, and when they're away, spending time with their family or playing golf or doing what they do, they've got that balance right as well.
Do you almost have to tailor that balance individually then for each player?
Yeah, I mean, you need to tailor a lot of certain things you do throughout the year. I mean, certain players like doing certain things. It's a team sport, so you want the buy-in for majority, but you certainly need to tailor some different areas for certain players, and recovery is important to everyone, but players' bodies, they're all different ages, how long they've played throughout the season, positions, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. There's no doubt about that, and that's why I'm happy of where we're at, because of what we've done all season to get to the position that we're in now. We've got a hard-working staff. We've got a big staff, but they all do a fine job, and getting the players ready.
Do you welcome that week's break then at this stage, or would you rather have carried on and, I don't know, maintained intensity, some momentum?
No, everyone's striving for first and second. There's no doubt about that. So we're extremely happy to be in the position that we're in, but that's gone now. It's all about preparing now for, and as I said, being ready for Friday. That's the key. Making sure that we're ready to go.
Did you watch the games last weekend? It was part of your preparation almost.
No, I've always watched the games. I watch all of them, so it was no different on the weekend. Tough physical games, the both of them. Really good defence in both games. Physical, as I said before. So, it's semi-finals. That's the type of intensity that you want to have. Obviously the game on Saturday with Warrington and St Helens, going down right to the end, going in Golden Point. That's what you want finals to be like as a spectator. Not so much for coaches, but for the fans. It was a great game to watch, and two very good teams going at it.
Are you sort of hoping as well that Warrington might take a little longer to recover after going through something like that?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, it was a physically intense game, so it can take its toll on the body, that's for sure. So, they'd have a plan around that, I'm sure, but not too concerned what they do. It's we've had some good preparation going in, and that's all my focus is on.
And not that long since you beat Warrington either. How much can you take from that game?
Yeah, it was a little bit ago now, a while ago. That we've played them 3 times. There was one game there, especially the first half. We weren't happy with it all, and then we've had 2 tight games. So it's two very good teams going at it. There's no doubt about that. We respect what Warrington's done all season and where they're at. But we deserve to be where we are at the moment as well. So we need to go prove that again. We've got to build it again and go prove, why we finished where we did. We're on a journey, and it's not finished yet.
You've also proven that you can win away from home. But how important is it, do you feel, on Friday night to be playing at Craven Park?
I think, like anything, I said this when we weren't winning games away. It didn't worry me too much where we played. It was just mainly around obviously mindset and then consistency in areas that we value. And we probably didn't. I think our preparation probably wasn't where it needed to be, and we changed a few things with that. When we'd go over and play teams over the other side, whether we went night before or day of and that type of thing, and we adjusted that. We got that right, and then we had consistent performances. So what I'm getting at is it doesn't matter where you play. You need to prepare the same. If you've got a process that you believe in, you need to prepare accordingly, and then you need to go do the job, and that's what we need to do on Friday night. It's just because we're playing at home. We've got 10, 11,000 people there cheering for us. That doesn't mean that we're going. It just happens. You need to go build it. We're playing against a team that are coming here to win as well, but we know what we need to do, and that's the important part is that we get that right.
You must be hoping, though, that all those people that will be coming to support your side can have a similar effect maybe on the team that the Warrington fans had at the weekend. Yeah,
there's no doubt when you play at home, that's the advantage, isn't it? When you've got, as I say, 10,000 fans that behind you, they make a difference. They certainly make a difference, and that's what we want to have. We want to have that. We want it to be hostile. We want it to be daunting for teams to come here, and the crowd certainly do that. But we need them this Friday night. There's no doubt about that. We need them more than ever this Friday night because it's semi-finals now. It's do or die. It's time to go to work. It's time to enjoy where we're at in the season, but get to that next step.
So how's your side looking for this weekend? Anything unexpected so far?
We'll finalise our team back end of the week, name our 21 tomorrow, but we'll be able to name, as I say, our 21 tomorrow.
One obvious player missing, Elliot Minchella. You appealed, that failed. How big a disappointment is it not to have him available?
Look, all due respect, it's in the past. We're all focusing on now who's playing. Dean Hadley coming in has done a great job. So, I don't want to focus on the past. You get stuck in the past when you do that. Focusing on the players that we've got available and what they'll do on Friday night. And I'm more than confident in their ability, especially Dean Hadley, who everyone loves playing with him. He's a player that players love to play with because he's consistent. He does the same job every week, and he's going to be a great teammate again for the rest of the team.
He's had a great season all over, hasn't he, Dean Hadley?
He has, yeah, absolutely. He plays prop. He plays at 13. He plays in the back row. Doesn't matter where he plays. He does the same job week in, week out. So we know what we're going to get from Dino.
One player who has been grabbing the headlines, obviously Mikey Lewis, the Man of Steel nomination, the Rugby League Writers and Broadcasters Association Player of the Year as well. How deserved are those accolades for him this year?
Yeah, 100% deserved. He, in rugby league, you get what you deserve. It's a saying that, a lot of coaches go by as a team and individuals as well. Like Mike has put a lot into his game in the past 2 seasons, and I've said it before. It's what he does off the field and the way he prepares for games now, and just his maturity levels. He's up there. I think leading the try assists. He scored 19 tries for a half. But what I'm loving about him is his defence and his last plays. His last plays, especially his long kicking game, has won us games this year. Was an area that we needed to work on. We lost a player early on in the year who had a exceptional kicking game, and Mike had to work on that. So he has, and for me, he's such an important part of what we do because not because of his individual brilliance, but because as I say, his last plays and his management around that.
I've heard you talk this year about almost feeling like a father figure to Mikey Lewis and maybe needing him to mature a little as well on the field as part of his game development. How much will his maturity matter for you this weekend?
Yeah, I think all you need to look at is what George did last week. George Williams did last week in that game. Like, I'm a massive believer in forwards win matches. The backs by how many? It's an old saying, but that's for the majority of the season. When other packs don't feel like turning up, or they're not where they need to be. If you're switched on as a pack, you usually dominate that middle third of the field, and in normal week-to-week games that get you across the line. But there's no doubt in the big games, it's your spine players, it's your halves, and that's what George did last week. Edwin Apape, played at hooker and then he went to 13, but he did it for Lee on Friday night. It's your key players that step up. So, we're certainly looking at Mikey. We're looking at Tyrone. We're looking at Niall and Matt Pussell and guys like that to step up, because I know what we're going to get from our forwards, and I'm sure Sam knows as well on the other side what he's going to get. So they'll be going at each other, and it's going to be the key players, in that spine that I think will determine the game, like last weekend for both games.
It potentially could be a great spectacle, couldn't it? There could be so many matchups across the field, such as Williams with Mikey Lewis against each other. There's so much to attract you to this one. Yeah,
there is, and that's when you've got the top 4 teams left. You're often going to have a lot of quality players in both sides, so that's what both teams have got. But yeah, just in Mikey v George's, it's one that everyone wants to see. Obviously George has been doing it a long time now, and he's still doing it. And Mikey's, he's coming through and he's on his tail, and it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. But they're the key players. There's no doubt about that. Like, the spine players are the key players in both teams, but it's still going to be the forward battle that'll determine or allowing the spine to do their thing, and that'll be a big part of how the game ends up.
And for all the attraction of this game, for all the eyes that are on this game this week, how do you try and keep things normal for your players?
Just our prep, you stay consistent with that. I've always said it all year. We've obviously had the 2 weeks to prep for the game. So, as I said before, you work out your best days, when you come in and when you don't. But when we're in, we're consistent with what we do. We've got a program that's effective and works, and we know that, and the players, buy into all that. So it's just a matter of staying consistent with that, and they certainly did today. Like, obviously conditions weren't great today, but you can tell it's a semi-final because the players are ready to go, and you always can tell by the way they train. And I'll be honest, we are consistent with how we train. So it wasn't major, but there's certainly levels that you look at, or it's certain things you look at and you go, we're in the business end of the year.
And as far as consistency goes as well, you could apply that to your team selection for the last few months, it feels. Is that going to be the case, do you think, this weekend, or do you have 1 or 2 headaches?
Oh, you've always got headaches, and when you have majority of your squad, which we do, you've always got headaches. There's players that aren't going to be in the team that could be in the team and should be in the team. Unfortunately, you can only pick 17 players, so you want, as a coach, you want to be in that position, but it's never easy and nice saying to all player that you're not in. But it's just part of the game, part of the job that we've got to do.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
So.
Hello, Willie.
Hey, Aaron Dan.
How are you?
Yeah, good, you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just thought I'd ask first of all about Sam Burgess's comments after their victory over St Helens. He was saying that Hull Care are the favourites for this game. What's your reaction to that?
I'm not allowed to have a bet, so I can't comment on that. If I could have a bet, I'd comment on it. Unfortunately, if I have a bet, I'll get in trouble from the Super League and the wife as well, so I'll leave that one, mate.
But if you were to be considered by outsiders who do have a bet as the favourites, is that a tag that you're happy and comfortable with?
It's irrelevant. I don't look at it. I can't have a bet. There's There's 2 very good teams going at it. So yeah, whoever wants to back either side, good luck to them.
Okay, so another thing he mentioned was Craven Park, the advantage you've got being there. So do you think it's being noticed now by a lot of people on the outside, how much of a fact the crowd can have on these occasions?
Yeah, I think when you go anywhere, like, we go to Warrington, you go to Lee, extremely vocal, and they can help the side. But as I said before, we might have 10 or 11,000 fans there, hopefully loud. That's what we want. But it's what our actions do on the field. That's the most important part. So we need to get our end right, and do what we've done all year, and the players doing what they've, the way they've played all year, and that'll get the fans behind them. Certainly, if we're doing it tough, we'd love our fans behind us, because there's going to be periods in that game that are going to be extremely tough for the players. So yeah, home ground advantage. You need to make the most of it. As I said before, for me, when we go away to another opposition, ground, it's about what we can control, and same on Friday night.
Okay, so the Coach of the Year shortlist is going to be announced this afternoon. So can you just talk a little bit, please, about how nice it is for coaches to be recognised in these sorts of awards?
Oh, look, yeah, it is. But I think when you've got staff, big staff like we do, and obviously other coaches have got staff and the players, they're the ones that help. Coaches achieve awards and whether it's player, whether it's man of steel, it's not just that one person, that one individual. They're the people that get the award, which is great. But it's there's a lot of people that help get that, and I'm sure other coaches would say that as well.
And the big game, obviously stating the obvious, that's coming up this weekend, but looking over the season as a whole, how would you summarise the way it's gone for you, and how happy you are with the progress?
Yeah, the progress has been great. There's no doubt about that. But I think we're still on our journey, and that journey is not complete yet for this year. So we after the season we'll have a look back and just see where we are and what we did well and what we need to improve, regardless of where we finish. We'll do that. We'll always do that. And then we'll look to improve again next year. But we've certainly we've come a long way, and we're proud of that. But we're not content with where we are. We're in a position now to go to Old Trafford and play at Old Trafford, and that's naturally where we want to be. But Friday night's the most important task for us.
And these sorts of awards, like Coach of the Year, there's an input from your peers, obviously your fellow coaches. So does that make it even more special when there's recognition from people that do the same job as you?
Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment, obviously, where all that's at, but yeah, of course, anyone that acknowledges, whether it's coaches or player, or if players are nominating a leadership group or anything like that. Of course, when you've got your peers and people that you work with, it's rewarding. So, yeah.
And obviously, last year, a lot of people saying that you should have been on that list. So, if you were to be on it this year, will that give you satisfaction?
Oh, well, wait and see. It's not about me, mate. It's, as I say, it's the players are the ones that do the hard yards, and if I'm nominated or not, naturally I'd be honoured. There's no doubt about that. But it's something that, I'll wait and see what happens.
And with the players for the weekend that might not be available, obviously there's people like Evans and Gildart that people have been looking at in terms of fitness. So how have they been going in training? Yeah,
they're coming along. We'll obviously know more back end of the week, and we'll name our squad tomorrow, and then we'll finalise at the back end of the week. So, we'll, as I said, we've got some tough decisions to make and decisions that will be made for you. So we'll wait and see back end of the week.
Okay, and this week obviously giving you a chance to get bodies freshen up a bit. I mean, the forwards have played a lot of minutes. So can you just talk about how useful that's been for the forwards having the time off?
Yeah, it's useful for everyone, but obviously, especially the forwards, they play big minutes, and there's some guys there that naturally sore and got their niggles, but everyone does it this time of the year. So it's we've had our rest now, and now, as I said before, it's about being ready for the game. So it's not about the that rest word anymore. It's about being ready. So we had a really good session today, a strong session today to be ready for Friday. The rest period and the recovery, we've had all that. So mindset now is just about Friday night and how we approach that game.
And Sharon spoke about Mikey Lewis earlier in the amount of attention that he's getting. There's so much focus on him at the moment with all these award ceremonies going on. So he's come a long way since last year, and now it's a different type of focus that's on him. So how do you think he'll cope with that, and how well equipped he's to cope with that change in focus?
It's all part of where he's at in his career. It's if you don't cope with that sort of stuff, then he'll just stay at the same level. But what makes the best players is because they can cope with pressure, they can cope with individual awards that they win, they can cope with external people and people telling them how good they are. But they need to be honest as well. They need to internally always be honest and go, have I given my best for that session? Have I recovered the best I can? Have I done everything I can to prepare for this week? If Mikey ticks all those boxes like he has, then we'll get the same Mikey Lewis. If he doesn't, and you listen to outside people and stuff like that. It's and don't do your work. Then that's when I've seen it. Over many years, that's when people can get themselves or ahead of themselves. And I haven't seen anything of Mike to suggest that. So, I just seen a player that's getting himself ready to go for Friday night. Loves playing in front of KR fans, whether away or whether at home. Passionate about his club, passionate for his teammates, and if he shows that on Friday night, regardless of how he plays, then I know that's all he can do. So that's all I ask.
I know you put a lot of focus on like what you do as a team, but just looking at Warrington, the last time that you met each other, a lot of the big plays were kept quiet. There's a lot of like strangling of what Warrington could do. So how important do you think that is, again, looking into this semi, the fact you keep the key men quiet?
Yeah, I mean, it's like any game. You need to keep their key men quiet. But if you look through Warrington's team, there's quite a few. So that's why I'll always go back to what we can control and what we do, and then it's they need to stop us as well. So that's our mentality. George, as I said last week, George was outstanding last week. But then if you worry about George, then they've got Matt Duffy, and you worry about Matt Duffy. They've got their two wingers, can cause you headaches, and their centres, and then they've got Walker at 9. Like they're good players all over the park. So that's when you're playing against a top 4 team. That's what you get. So. We'll always focus on us and get our end right, because if you get your end right, then, as I say, other teams have got to stop that more so than worrying about opposition and what they do. We'll certainly have a plan around certain things, but it's always around what we can control.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Hey Willie, how are you doing?
Hey James, good, you mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. You've had some real tussles with Warrington this year, winning the next second spot. Has it felt like you've been on a semi-final collision course for a while now?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the year, you look at the teams that you play, or at first, I always say that 10 games, you get an understanding of yourself and as a team, and then you understand other teams as well. And there's no doubt I knew Warrington would be there at the back end, and more than likely that would play them at some stage in the finals. So it's worked out that way, and there's no surprise.
Sorry, just got sidetracked. I'm out on location. What do you have to do to beat this Warrington team on Friday?
Again, I'll go back to us, mate. We need to do what we do well, and obviously, both teams want to start well. I think the start's going to be important for both teams. They're coming here to start well. We want to start well, so there's no secret there. But it's just focusing on the areas that we're good at and doing those well under pressure, because it's a game that it's do or die. So there's going to be, like on the weekend in their game, there's moments in the game that you need to win, key moments that you need to win. So we need to obviously win more moments than Warrington. But if we get our end right, the things that we value, and that's mainly around defence. Our defence is the area that we value the most. We need to get that right first and foremost, and then our attack will come off the back of that. So there's no doubt, as I said before, with the quality that you got, you're going to be stressed at times. But then it's how hard do you want to work for your teammate to stop that try or line break or whatever it may be. So it's just similar principles for us this week.
You obviously played in a grand final over here, and you were involved in a lot of big games as a player. Where does this game rank in importance to you?
I try to forget about that, James. You just reminded me about it.
Second time in 2 weeks.
Look, mate, it's different when you play. Obviously, I played a long time ago now. But the players want to play in big games, and this is certainly a big game. It's a big occasion. It's I think our first semi-final being in a position to go to Old Trafford by finishing second. So we're doing things this year that we haven't done previously, but it's You go into it and you want to be consistent with prep as a normal game, but of course it's not a normal game. It's a big game, and I don't want to play it down. It's a massive game for both clubs. We both know what the rewards are. Getting to Old Trafford. So, but you got to get past Friday first, and that's our focus.
What would it mean to you to be the first OKR head coach to lead the club to a grand final?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too much into grand final. I prefer to talk about that after the game. But naturally we're in a position to be able to do that. So I'm proud of the players, of what they've done. But it's the job up until now. We've got 2 games that we want to tick off Friday's the most important for us. So, there's not been too many performances this year that we haven't been proud of as a team, and we're honest with each other of performances. But I'm sure they'll deliver a performance that their community's proud of this Friday.
I think it's been widely viewed as the biggest game ever held at the new Craven Park. Do you feel ready for it as a group?
Yeah, well, of course. We've shown this year and last year as well when we play at Craven Park. We enjoy playing here, but as I said, it shouldn't be about where you play. It should be about performance of wherever you play. It's consistent, and we've shown that this year. And that's what I'm proud of. So I'm looking forward to seeing the levels that we can go to. It's a game that's going to be high intensity. They like to go set for set. We like to go set for set. So it's going to be a game of attrition, and it's a game that we're looking forward to because players want to play in these sort of games.
That's all from me. Thank you very much, Willie. All the best.
Cheers, James. Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Hi, Willie. All right.
Yeah, good guys. You, mate?
Good, thank you. Good. Just a couple from me, mate. With the week off and everything, was your message to the players take your mind off it, or were you sort of actively sort of getting them to sort of embrace it all?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Obviously, when you come to training, we're working hard. But certainly when they're away, it was about getting your mind off it, because 2 weeks can be a long time if you think about it and you overplay it in your head too much, and then come Friday night, you could have played the game beforehand. So we certainly haven't done that, and that's why I believe we've got the balance right of when the players are in of working hard, and then when they're away, just to spend time with the family or play golf or whatever they do.
Were you involved at South when they were in the finals when Sam was playing?
No, I was coaching the Matthews Cup at South at the time, so I wasn't involved in the first grade. But I did. I remember I went to a training session and I think they were about to play the Roosters, and just seeing, I'll never forget it, just seeing a group of players, you can just tell that they were ready to win a competition. And obviously I've known Sam a while now. I know what Sam obviously what he's brought Warrington all season as a coach, and I always knew he was going to be a good coach. But as a player, he was exceptional as well.
It was intense enough as a player during normal games. Did you notice going back that Sam's intensity went even higher for finals games when he was at South at all? Yeah,
I mean, I know what Sam brings. I've seen it. So big games. That's when he used to like coming out to play. But he's a coach now, so he can only do he can only do so much. I know what Sam and how I said at the start of the year, I knew what Team Warrington were going to be of the way Sam Burgess is as a person, but how he played as well, and they're certainly reflecting that. But Sam's not out there. Sam can't control what happens once that whistle goes and the players are on the field. It's over to them. So as a coach, all you can do is prepare the best you can, and then the handover on captain's run is over to the players. And then if the staff and everyone's prepared and the best they can, then you're content and okay with that. But as I say, you can't go on the field, Big Sammy. You'd probably like to.
The coaches' boxes aren't anywhere near each other, are they?
What's that? Sorry.
The coaches' boxes aren't anywhere near each other, are they?
No, there's a little bit of distance between them.
Oh, you're all right then.
Yeah.
You don't have to face him. It's a playoff game then.
Pardon?
You don't have to face him. It's a playoff game then, because there's distance between the boxes.
Yeah, no, I'll have to get the bats out. He's too big for me, Big Sam. I'll have to stand on a chair.
That's very true, Willie. Very, very true. He's a big fella. He dwarfs me. He stood up next to me the other week. I'm like, have you got taller?
Yeah, I've shrunk, or he's got taller. I don't know which one.
Cheers, Willie. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Hi, Willie. You all right?
Is that Sam?
Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
Hey, mate. How are you? All right?
You mentioned there about when you watched the South's training and you saw a team that was ready to win. Do you see that when you walk out and watch your team train at the moment?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. There's no doubt about that. The difference obviously was I wasn't in that environment. So when you go into an environment and you see it, I think I learned this a long time ago. You learn a lot about the team and you learn a lot about culture. And I'm obviously in and amongst it every day. So I know from being in amongst it what this group's all about and our culture. So our culture and the connection that we're with. So I know that as I said, the main thing is that we're ready to go Friday, which we will be. And I know these players are, again, will do their community proud.
Yeah, and speaking to coach, obviously, Elliot Manchell is the captain. We know he's not going to be available, but he's not available for the game. He's still available this week. How has he been in training? Has it just been practice as normal for Elliot, or has there been a bit of a difference in how he's approached the week?
Yeah, so we always get the opposition to run plays like the opposition team, and so he's played a key role in that this week. Obviously, having Elliot in that team, there was a lot of positivity around the way they played, and because he certainly brings that. But he's got a different challenge this week as a leader. As a leader, you always come up with new challenges, and they're always evolving. And I think Elliot for this week it's a new challenge for him of how to get the best out of his teammates. He certainly can do that when he's in and amongst it. But now it's a way of, okay, so if I'm not playing, how can I get the best out of my teammates? Because he's still our captain. Obviously, Batch is our on-field captain this week. So that's getting around to individuals and what the input that he has or hasn't have in training. But then it can be, the best way to communicate at times is by listening. So, he's done a fair bit of that this week as well, and then have him put off the back. So I think it's been great for his leadership, of just a different approach and a different angle of how to be a leader.